Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through the fears, live an awesome life, and give you the tools to manifest anything. I'm going to talk today about the meaning of life, the purpose, and, well, from my perspective, the only thing that is important. And of course, you know I always break things down to 1, 2, or 3 steps. Because when you can focus on one thing at a time, your quantum focus creates quantum mechanics. Now, you know that I love science, because from science we have demonstrated that this is true, that your focus changes matter. Your focus turns a wave, which is a probability of which there are endless probabilities, turns the wave into a particle. The particle is what we see in the material world, the situations, the people, the material things. Then it collapses and becomes the things that we use in our everyday life, that we eat, our whole existence here, that we believe is real, is not truly real. But we're not going to go into the whole holographic illusion. I want to talk about the one thing that is of most importance. And if we do not get this right, we all flunk. We're all students. My son keeps going in and out of the clouds here. There is one thing that if you focus on, you will totally go to a higher frequency, feel at peace, and open up huge gateways for yourself, others, and the whole purpose we came here. It's how we treat each other. Yeah, it's how we treat each other. Now, I want you to think about that. Absolutely everything in your life involves somebody else, other people, other governments, countries, organizations, your spouse, your parents. No one escapes this. If you're a human being, there's another person in your life. Everything comes down to how we treat each other. Now, some of you will turn around and say that others have treated you a certain way, and you'll be fixated on that. And the bottom line is, that is totally irrelevant. What? No, that's not fair. That's not right. Yeah, it's irrelevant. It is relevant only to how you react to that behavior, not what they've done. That is their choice. Everything comes down to how you handle every situation, every person, and how you treat them. Now, somebody said, I've had this quite a few times after I've done a video on how we like to believe that we're right, so we'll impose what we believe is right on other people because we're just not accepting them. And so the mom who said she just had an epiphany that her 8-year-old, who she struggles with, is really, the struggle comes down to the fact that mom's trying to impose how she believes the child should act on the child, and there creates struggle. Now, you may not like how certain people treat you or what's going on, and it may not seem right, but it's all part of the play. It's all part of the opportunity. And these are all presented to you. There's no chaos in the universe. There are no accidents, no chaos, no coincidences, ever, ever. Everything's intentional, and everything is intelligent beyond our comprehension. So guess what? When that person says something to you, it's all up to you how you handle the situation, and that determines your frequency. That's your opportunity. Every minute, little, subtle detail is all for you, and it's all a test, a test, a test, a test. All of it. That's the purpose, the meaning of life. Now, I can say, well, why are we here? We don't really know why we're here. It is the experience. Why, who, what, how? No one has those answers. But we do know that we are here as part of a test, a challenge, to create and reconnect to that which we already are, never disconnected from. You are the highest power. But if you knew that, well, none of this would matter. We'd be walking around in La La Land. We wouldn't need money. We wouldn't need anything. We'd all be abundant. But the fact that we think that we're limited and that this three-dimensional world is all there is has allowed us to evolve out of it and reconnect and go back to what we are, and that is perfection, where you never find fault in another. It's impossible, because the other is you, and it is perfect too. And if it presents an opportunity for you to become greater, no blame, total responsibility. I think that's one of the toughest things for most people to do. I have students that have had, on my e-course, that have had major epiphanies, realizing that they are super powerful, and then when they grasp that, they have to come to terms with the fact that they've been doing everything, and that none of it has been imposed on them. Because if you say that you have had things imposed on you without your permission, you're saying you're powerless, that you are a victim, and therefore it will be true for you. And you will continue down that road until you come to terms with the fact that there's nothing you can't change. That your life is being controlled and guided by you at all times with every thought. And so when you get hung up on all these relationships, and he did this and she did that, and I feel bad or guilty, and all these things you go into, it's all smoke and mirrors. The bottom line is, there's only this moment. There's only this moment. And everything else before this moment is how you reacted at that moment, according to how you felt, thought, believed. And what you're doing right now is not only determining your frequency at this moment, but your future. Because every thought and everything you do right now changes the trajectory of your future existence. So when you raise your frequency now, you just shot up into a different frequency, a different pathway, a different reality. Can you be the peace in everything? And I've had many videos like this, but I want to tell you right now, everything's about how we treat each other. Because if you were on a planet with absolutely nothing else on it, no human beings, there would be no problems, right? You'd figure out how to forage for food and live a very lonely life or a very happy one. Bottom line, it's how you're treating somebody else, how you react to them, how you're taking it. And you got to remember, when somebody comes at you with something negative, it has nothing to do with you. Nothing. They're coming from a negative place. They're feeling that internally, and they're projecting that out. You may just happen to be that person there. You never make anybody feel anything. And if somebody has rage or anger or anything else, it's coming from them. All right? So even if you do something that triggers something in them, let's say you didn't intentionally do something and it triggers something in them, that is still not you. It is coming from them, because that's their trigger. That is their reaction, their choice, their thoughts, their beliefs, their choice. And the same goes with you. No one makes you feel anything. Words. Words are simply words. They have no meaning unless you create it. You get to create that story or that meaning behind those words. Otherwise, you ever seen Charlie Brown? The teacher is always going, wah, 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 right? That's it. That's all you have to hear. Everything else is just you functioning in a world where you can do your best at all times. So when you really want to be tested? I was tested recently. Major tested. I was so absolutely at peace, and even more at peace with the fact that it didn't affect me. All right? My blood pressure didn't even go up, and I realized I do observe now. I do observe. Now, again, you have a personality. You're not going to lose your personality. You know, even the highest awakened people are going to react a certain way. So the question is, are you reacting from an internal story, or are you just handling the situation as best as you know at that time period? Because it will change. The more awakened you become, the less you'll react to certain things, right? If somebody comes to you for advice and then their reaction is negative, okay, well, you just have to let it go and realize that they're coming from a place where they don't really want that advice, or they wanted advice that they wanted to hear. So they're still trying to control the situation. So you have to see that and know it and observe and say, okay, that's what's going on here. Okay, I got sucked into that, trying to help, but I don't have to take it personally. And if that person gets upset and they go on the defensive, that's a story they're telling themselves. Did I speak in my most kind way? Was I trying to be helpful? If the answer is yes, that's all you can do. But if you go through your life really paying attention to every word you say, every way that you handle everybody around you, you will be totally in the now, the power of now. You will be totally conscious of absolutely every minute thing that's going on, right down to your thoughts and how you're being tested. These are all tests. Am I really awakened? Am I all that? People, we tout all this stuff, and then we go into a situation, and that's when you really know if you're living it. So this is going to be ongoing till the day you die. But you're going to continually get better and better at recognizing that none of it's real. It's all frustration. It's all ignorance of the human species. Ignorance meaning just not really being connected to what we are. It's all having to be on this planet right now that we chose to be here to handle these very difficult, challenging situations. Holy cow! The emotions that we feel as human beings, the things that we're exposed to by each other. But when you become that perfect peace, when you stop battling it, trying to correct people, trying to change them, I'm enlightened, here's how you should act, right? Allow them to choose themselves. And you can and probably should walk away from many situations. And there will be a point when the rage or anger, you need to walk away from it. It is not yours to fix. You are not responsible for that person. And at some point, you don't want to be somebody's punching bag, all right? They'll find somebody else or no one, and then they'll be on their own, realizing they better change their ways. And that's their lesson and their journey. You are not here to fix anybody. You're here to be the peace, all right? So that is your sole purpose. What we must, as human beings, in this form, in this role we're playing, sort of weird, isn't it, right? This isn't really what we are. It's very uncomfortable to be in these costumes, playing these roles in a very dense planet. Density is something we're not used to. We have to play this out, and we got sucked into it in a lower and lower frequency, and further away from our peace, and realizing this is not personal. Only the ego believes it's personal. So if you're reacting that way, know you're still in an ego state. Take a good look at it and say, whew, there's a trigger. Where's that coming from? Well, old stuff, what you've been told, what the collective consciousness believes in things, what the governments and the religions and mom and dad, and it just goes on and on. But we're here to raise that frequency because that collective is shared. So it's not just you. You're helping the entire cosmos when you raise your frequency. It is a shared energy. That's all we are, is one energy expressing itself. Crazy, isn't it? I know. I don't know about you. I don't think I want to come back here. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Right? What were we thinking? But if you do your job, the universe applauds you. All of those who are not down here, who are aiding us from the other side, They're applauding us, saying, keep going, don't lose your faith, don't you quit, don't you ever quit. Get out of that bed, get out of that funk, get out of that depression, and force yourself out into life. And it may surprise you in amazing, wonderful ways. But don't you ever quit on me. I'm counting on you. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings, my beautiful, perfect light being. Do my meditation, Manifest Anything, with Landria Onkka. I will help to take you places that you may not have been focused on before and open up gateways to amazing things that you can do every day. Live life is a miracle. And if you want more help, I'm still offering the Inspiration with Landria code on my e-course. Go down in the description and you can take Breakthrough Fear that will help you to get past all the limitations and go into manifesting unbelievable things. When you finally recognize your power, it becomes easy. And then you know you're doing everything with a thought. But then you're controlling those thoughts in a positive way. So come join me in my e-course. You're whole, perfect, beautiful, powerful, abundant. Blessings, my friend. Namaste.